Hello there, all of you Maple heads. It's the triple M, the triple threat. Maple Musing Monday, Monday Maple Musings, Monday Super Slam. And we're kicking it old school. Apparently, I turned on my fucking playlist and it started busting out the OG, I believe. This is that shit you heard when you turned this game on back in 2004. That's the good shit. Anyways, hopefully you guys are doing well, and this series is the series where we kind of look at the top posts on the subreddit for the last week. I mean, you want to see different content, I encourage you to interact, you feel me? There is one post, this post right here, which I thought was very, very cool. The GMS Barra merching F2P a year in review type thing. I have some thoughts on this, and I'm excited to look at that. Rest of the stuff is not too, how you say, interesting. There's a really cool collaborative art piece, I will admit. That's pretty fucking cool. But for the rest of the stuff, well, let's look at the MapleSEA thing, too. I remember clicking on that before I went to bed, but, yeah. We'll open these, and we'll see what's popping. But first and foremost is the GMS Barra merching free-to-play a year in review post. In contrast to my previous posts, well, what is his previous post? Let's take a look. 4.5 years of F2P progression. So this guy has a very thematic posting cycle, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, though, this is less progression-oriented, more of a discussion about how and what I merged in the past year. A little belated into the year, but it's been a busy time. As always, it's not intended to be a perfectly optimized template, nor a step-by-step guide. Rather, I hope this post and accompanying spreadsheet can offer some insight into how I approach the market as a free-to-play player on Interactive. I apologize for the length. Market-based discussions seem to be few and far between. Then there is a spreadsheet of mesos earned in 2024. I actually didn't look at this, so let's take a look. What do we got going on here? So, is this just shit he got from bosses and sold? I think that's what that reads like to me. Yeah, because general merch. This is shit that he would merch. So honestly, it doesn't really look like he earned that much from merching. It mostly looks like he just played the game, which is good to see. And this is something that I had been thinking about for quite some time. But I'll get into that as we go through the post. He's level 285, 77k stat, 315 mil CP, free-to-play Bowmaster, GMS Barra. At this point, he's about 5 years and 2 months into his F2P journey. Plays himself in a late game, but on endgame territory. Solo weekly bosses up to C10, Duo X-Lot, run H-Saren, and Calling, now see Kalos with friends. I mean, shit, you asked me, that's endgame, bro. I mean, I guess you could be running, like, Limbo. But, like, I mean, if you're doing this shit, you could probably be doing normal Limbo. That's neither here nor there, though. But at that point, what are you if not endgame? I mean, I guess some people might define that as, like, the hardest hard, but if you're running every boss that's available in the game, there's no more game left, really. Changing the difficulty is still the same boss, you feel me? I don't know. Anyway, that's just pedantics. He's made decent progress in the last 7 months since his previous post, nearly tripled his CP, maxed the sacred symbols, and continue the slow grind towards completing 6-job Hex and Matrix. I do not play on multi-accounts. I work full-time, leaving with me enough time for my main and 1 H-lot boss mule. His stat window, as of March 4th. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. You're looking pretty good. Most of your recent games have come from pushing equips from 22 to 21. Oh, to 21 and 22, not from 21 to 22. And some B-pot upgrades. Using Violet Cubes to improve my weapon secondary and emblem, WSE, I'm quite the 21-star gamer. As free-to-play on Interactive, where mesos are comparatively harder to come by, I'm not pressed to push for 22 stars as I look for gains in other areas. I also think that star forcing is one of, if not the most toxic systems in the game, but I'll inevitably finish the remaining 22 stars in the future. Brother, you and I are not too different. I fucking hate star forcing. This shit is miserable. That is to say, interactive players have it slightly better, since you can theoretically just buy copies of the items that blow up. but it doesn't change the basis of the system itself, which definitely leaves a lot to be desired. I've said this before, I've seen free-to-play friends in Barra outpace me in far less time. It's also undeniable that progression is more streamlined and heroic. In a game that actively trades on FOMO, regardless of servers, shout out to all those that patiently make gains wherever you can find them. That aside, there's much to be said about interactive and its literal selling point, the auction house. Let's get into it. A few insights. 718 bill in 1 year, or viewed another way, 13.8 bill per week. I mean, wow. A few years back, earning max meso 30 bill at a time seemed like an impossible goal. To be clear, 3/4 of a trillion meso is a considerable amount, but more context is required to understand why. I may not necessarily view this as a flex. I mean, it's a lot, but it's also not a lot compared to sort of where your character is in the game, right? And I mean, I'm just looking at it from like a heroic perspective. That rings even more true in like interactive, because either you're going to be spending the meso trying to make your gear better, or you're going to be buying the already better gear. Either way, that shit is going to cost you a ton of meso. So like, it is a lot, but it's not a lot, if that makes sense. At the stage of progression, further upgrades will cost the tens if not hundreds of billions of meso. For example, Embera, Clean Pitched are currently around 15 bill, Eternal's 10 bill, and Saren Emblem Mitra's Rage 30 bill. A Clean Total Control currently sits at 275 bill. I mean, yeah, that's kind of ridiculous, but that's what I kind of was saying. Market expertise not required. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to paraphrase this, but basically most of his income came from just playing the game. No merching at all. And this is, I think this is the time that I'm going to start to take and talk about something that I've been thinking about personally. And this is the concept that it's interesting to me, because a lot of people who play Reboot and are like giga grinders in Reboot, right? People who grind multiple WAPs a day, or just overall grind more often than they don't. These same people, I think, would be significantly better off in interactive, right? I was thinking about this when I was like grinding. I was like, you know, if I put the same amount of time into interactive, I would literally be gapping myself, right? I would, because I think the amount of resources you get and the ways in which you can funnel them into specific items is just more conclusive to progress. Whereas heroic, not only is it much slower, you also have a lot less control over like what drops you get, etc. Right? So it was an interesting thought, but there's obviously the mental aspect of it too, right? It's not just as simple as, well, if you're a giga grinder, you might as well play interactive because interactive will be better suited for you in the long term, which I don't fully disagree with. But something to keep in mind is the fact that, how do I word this? There's a certain importance in like feeling like you've earned the things that you get in the game, right? And I think that's like the biggest part between heroic and non-heroic, and it's the like mental aspect of it, where it's like, I don't know how to articulate what I'm trying to say, but basically it's like, you grind a certain amount, you know you're going to be getting like 15-20 fragments an hour in heroic, right? You could get upwards of like 60 in interactive. Those 60 fragments, you know you can turn into like X amount of meso, however much a fragment costs. I have no idea how much fragments cost at this point, but you kind of equate these things to meso, and like everything becomes meso. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just a different way of looking at things, right? But I say it's different because in heroic, a fragment is a fragment. That's all it could ever be, if that makes sense. So there's definitely a kind of a mental thing going on there. So I don't know. Would I be grinding nearly as much if I did play interactive as I do now on heroic? I don't know. There's definitely a different sense of achievement for some people, I think is what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense. But basically, I think this is really cool, this whole post. Because this post kind of articulates what I've been thinking about just on my own. In that, interactive is probably better if you're a grinder. Which is crazy. And I think Reboot is more centered around the more casual play style or daily story type stuff. But let me know what you guys think. Gold Beach Collaborative Art Canvas. This is just cool. I thought it was cool. Bunch of artists coming together and making a canvas full of maple art. I mean, there's some boob. There's some not boob. There's a pink bean with a gun. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything. What am I reading? That demon, though, whoever drew it knew what they were going for. I aimed to please. The demon didn't shave? Unshaved is best. What am I reading, brother? Good lord. MapleSEA, less is more. New weekly Soul Urda quest. What is the TLDR in this? This text is for fucking ants, man. I don't know. So it went from 18 times 7, 126, to 12 times 7 is 84 plus 50, 134, to a flat 90. Okay, so their weekly Soul Urda just got nerfed. Their fragments. Ours has always been 12, though. Yeah, this comment, I was like, hasn't ours been 12? So theirs was just higher to begin with. And then it got slightly nerfed. I mean, it does suck for their region if they got used to something. And then it gets changed. Whether it's better or worse than our region doesn't really matter. MapleSEA is... it surprises me how MapleSEA still exists, to be honest. It is not a great iteration of the game, is what I would say. Been on a pitched epic item drop since May last year. What did I do wrong? Oh yeah, I remember this post. Been running on 3 C10E characters. 2 of them have access to Kalos, carrying Saren at max drop rate. Never missed any weeklies. 1 even has showdown to get 6% extra drop. Nothing has dropped at all. Best is occasional ring boxes. That too, only 2 or 3 pieces, I reckon. I don't know what that means, but I get your frustration. It's all in the rates. Isn't it a little too ridiculous? Not one at all. 3 max drop rate meals every week. That's 216 weeks if on 3 characters and 10 hard bosses on average each. I mean, yeah, this is the problem with, well, I say the problem. It is one of the bigger problems on Reboot, for sure, for sure. And it's definitely something that I wish they would either make a note of or work on changing, because it is frustrating, let me tell you. And this is another large reason why I'm a big fan of taking gains where I can, i.e. if a pitched item is better than the alternatives at 21 star, I will use that pitched item at 21, and I will feel good about it. Because realistically, you could just never see it again, ever. Seeing it at all in the first place is rare. And until that changes, I don't know. It's iffy, man. There's a bishop in Chronos who's one of the first parties to clear Will when he came out. Hasn't seen a book in 5 years while he's 7 set. There's a reason why Heroic is asking for some kind of pitched pity system. He did actually get a book 2 months ago. Well, thank God, it only took him 5 years and some change. I hope this is not me. I want a book. Please, God, give me a book. I just want to learn how to read, man. I don't know. I definitely do think pitched system needs to be modified. at least a bit. Ooh, PSA, claim Inkwell's gift before reset tomorrow. Does it disappear? I didn't know that. I need to finish claiming that. Anyways, that's a little PSA, I suppose. If you're watching this on the day that this gets uploaded, claim your Inkwell gift. Anyways, I think I'll end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and spending some time with me. It means the world, as your time is the most precious resource on this goddamn planet. Like the video if you like it, subscribe, all that good stuff, and thank you to my YouTube members. It's Business Inner Diz, Remix My Life. I'm Nufo. I love all of you guys very, very much, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye!